So I'll let Pam take over from here, and we're going to use one of our dies. This is an Easter egg.
Yes.
It's probably from about 1920s or 30s, and it's an Art Deco kind of a Easter egg designed for enamel, and it'll be done in fine silver.
So, and I just really wanted to point out these dies. Kevin rescued these dies, and not just these, I mean thousands and thousands of them. And they were heading for recycling. They were going to be melted down, and these are hand engraved. You know, true artists engraved these, and they were used for jewelry making back in the 20s, 30s, 40s. And he is making stampings available. You can go to potterusa.com and you can buy stampings and make beautiful jewelry, and that's what we're hoping, is to encourage people to revive these gorgeous art stampings that just aren't available anymore. And I picked out this beautiful little Easter egg, and I'm going to be enameling it. And the key with this is I want the enamel to be crystal clear. There's so much gorgeous detail in this that I don't want to lose that. And so I'm going to show you how to get the enamel really, really clear. Now before we start, I have to, I'm going to enamel the back first. So the reason I enameled the front and the back is because even though this is a pretty thick piece of metal, as soon as I stick it in the kiln, it's annealed, and enamel puts force on glass and it's going to crack the enamel. So if I enamel both sides, it equalizes the pressure, and oh boy, our little machine is making a lot of noise here. It equalizes the pressure, and then we don't get cracks in the enamel. So we're going to start with that. I'm going to do that first. And here we go. I'm going to put this on here, and I'm just going to sift a little enamel onto the back. Now I want it to stick, so I have some Clearfire here. Clearfire is an enamel adhesive. I've already cleaned this piece of silver so that the enamel's going to stick okay and nothing's going to beat up on me. And I'm just brushing a little Clearfire onto the back of the piece. And I've got a little sifter here, and I'm going to use this 2420. This is a sea green. It's a really pretty green. And I'm just going to sift right onto this little egg. And I'll just kind of start at the edges. I don't want it to be thicker in one part and thinner in another. Hang on, let me get some of that out there. They don't actually work if they're really full. You only want it to be about a third full. Here we go. Alright, so I've got the enamel sifted onto the back, and I'm going to just check real quick, make sure I didn't get it on the front, and I'm going to put that into a trivet, and then we're going to fire that. Oh, we're at 1500, we're a little hot right now, we're going to turn that down a little bit, but as we open it, it'll cool off. Use my firing rack, or my firing spatula. Off she goes. We're going to do the back. And obviously I'm not going to set that on a paper towel when I come back out. So this is, oh my god, this is a dental kiln. I love this thing. I'm like coveting it. And I've got it at orange peel stage, which is not fully fired, but that's okay because it's going to keep firing as I work on the front. So we're going to let that cool, and when it's cool, I'm going to turn it over and we'll start working on the front side of the piece. So we got to get the enamel sized. This is the key to getting the enamel really, really clear. And the way I go about it is I screen it. So I've got a 325 mesh screen. That's a 325 holes per linear inch. And I'm going to drop a quarter in that. And then on top of that, I'm going to put a 150 mesh screen, 150 holes per linear inch. Drop a quarter in that. The quarters help push the enamel through the screens. And then I'm just going to pour some in here. And I'm going to be sizing out the enamel. I am going to wear a mask while I do this because screening enamel puts a lot of glass dust in the air, and you don't want to breathe glass dust. So I'm going to put a cap on this. That will help keep the glass dust down, but when I open it, you're still going to get glass dust in the air, so be sure and wear your mask. And you do the little enamel dance. What I'm doing is I'm going to be removing both the very large particles and the very small particles. And what's left in between is going to give me crystal clear results over my design. And I'll be able to really see my design. It doesn't take long to do this, only about 15 or 20 seconds. That's probably good enough. And what's on top, that is good enamel. Nothing wrong with that. And I'm just going to pour that back in the jar. And what I've got in this screen, the 325 mesh screen, this is what I want to use. This is very, very fine particles of enamel, but it's not the super fine powder. That super fine powder will make your enamel cloudy. You've got to get those super fine particles out of the enamel so that it doesn't cloud it up. And so we're done with that. I'm going to just put these aside. And I'm going to take this off because it's August and we're in a metal building. And then I'm going to wet them because we're going to be applying them wet. Now this is distilled water. I always use distilled water when I'm enameling because I don't want to introduce elements or minerals that might come out of the pipes. And quite frankly, it's less than $1 for a gallon of distilled water. It's cheap insurance. So I put a generous amount of water on that. I'm agitating it. What this is doing is any little fines that might still be clinging to the grains, I want to get those off. The glass is heavier than water, so it's going to sink down, and then I'm going to pour it off. Now you'll notice I have 2 cups. I have a clean water cup and a wastewater cup. And this way I'm not contaminating my clean water. And there we go. Those are all ready to use. I've got 4 colors all set up. And now I'm ready to start applying my enamel. Let's see if this is cooled off. Yes. And I have here, this is a little dish of distilled water. It's got about a tablespoon of water, and this is clear enamel. This is a new product that I've come out with, and what it is a wetting agent. What a wetting agent does is it reduces the surface tension of water, and what happens is it makes the enamels lay down very flat, and it reduces bubbles, and bubbles will make your enamel cloudy. So this is yet another way of increasing the clarity of the enamel. So here we go. We're going to start laying it in. And I'm going to start with some flax. I need a little paper towel here. Hold on. I've got it. Just something to... a little paper towel, and I'm going to just pick up some of this enamel. And I'm going to just start laying some in. And what I'm trying to do is follow this design somewhat. And I can use... I can use a little scribe to help push the enamel off the brush and follow this design around. So I'm being kind of detailed on this because it's a pretty design. Let's take advantage of it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tap it, which is going to settle the enamel. And so it's flat, because if it's lumpy going in, it's going to be lumpy coming out. And once I've got it tapped, I'm going to take a little piece of paper towel here and I'm going to wick off the excess moisture. I'm just going to pull that right off. And then I'm going to apply the next color. And this is a fairly shallow design. I got a little of that flax yellow in here. I want to get that out, so let me just get this out of here. There we go. And now I'm going to come in with, how about we do a little aqua cascade shading up the middle of this thing. So I'm going to start with this aqua. I love this color. This is one of my favorite colors. I use it all the time. And this is all Thompson lead-free enamel. And made in the USA. All right, so I'm up the middle with that. Now I'm going to switch over to this Cascade, which is a lighter shade of blue, and put that in. And I don't want there to be a distinct line between the light and the dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little scribe here, and I'm going to blend the grains where the 2 colors come together. And I'm going to give it a little tap to settle it again. And then I'm going to wick it again to get off all that excess water. And now I'm going to come back and I'm going to do my little decorations, and I'm going to come in with that sea green. This is fun.
amazing.
Oh my God.
This is way more difficult than anything I would have ever attempted.
It's not
We'd
that
have covered
difficult.
it in one color.
Oh.
And said, woohoo!
Isn't this more fun though?
Oh, it is.
This is like a coloring book, only with glass.
Yeah, I do stuff with colored pencils, and maybe the same thing where you blend the two colors.
Yeah. Now the thing about glass though, of course, is that it does not mix like paint. It mixes like a bowl of marbles. You know, if I put red and yellow marbles together, I do not get orange marbles. I get spots of red and spots of yellow. And it's the same with enamel. So real shading is built up with layering. You use layer after layer to get the graduated shading. Come on. And I'm not doing the absolute best job I've ever done, but you're getting the idea, and that's what we want.
It's amazing. We're so glad you stopped by.
I am having so much fun. I love being here at Potter USA. This little dental kiln, later, when Kevin can't find it, don't come looking at me.
We'll have to get somebody to make these.
Yeah. I love the whole idea of it coming from underneath. There's just so many advantages to that. It just needs a computer controller though. All right, so there's my sea green in there, and then I think I'll finish that off with the Cascade, which is a very, very pale blue, which I love. I'm a color junkie. I just love color. I was an enamelist before I got into metal clay. I've been an enamelist for 19 years.
I've always played it
so,
safe.
So here's my gorgeous little design. Is that not spectacular? And I'm going to tap it out.
Good taste in color.
I've been doing it a little while. And I'm going to, again, I'm going to wick it all off. I want to get all that excess water off of there. I cannot wait to see this fired. So there we go. We've got the enamels are laid on, and now we're going to fire it. And let's see what temperature we're at. We're going to wait for the kiln to come back up, and then we're going to fire it. Here we go. We're going to go in. All right, off she goes.
Now, is it fairly dry? It won't go poof.
It won't go poof. All that wicking I did pulled out most of the water. That was what the wicking was about. Plus, it continued to dry as we... Oh, get it up in there.
All right.
Get it up in there.
I'm used to it going poof.
No, well, it only goes poof if you don't wick it.
Well, I didn't know about the wicket.
I'm going to play with your toy.
Okay.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Beautiful. All right, so let's look at this. Now the colors are going to go kind of funky as it cools, but as it continues to cool, they'll true up. And you can see the design. Oh, there's my timer. You can see the design underneath that enamel crystal clear. There's not a bubble in there.
That is beautiful.
Isn't that gorgeous? And that's it. That's how you do it.
Wow. And it's not full of globs.
Nope. No globs. It's glob free.
Yes. That looks amazing.
So that was our video on how to do some enameling using some of these antique dies and doing and stampings, and I hope you have some fun with it.
Thanks for watching, everybody.